Hi everyone, this is Friebolin. I'm back with some more Escape from Mr. Lemoncello's library. I'm not sure when this video will be posted, but there is a link on Class Dojo that the author of the book, Chris Grabenstein, is doing a live shout out on Facebook on Thursday from 2 to 3, I think it is. So hopefully we'll be caught up by then. And if not, hopefully you saw that message and you can go online with your parents' permission and meet the author and hear some other things about the book. So we're getting pretty far. I'd say we're a little bit more than halfway through. So we basically have two teams right now, Kyle, Akimi, Miguel, and Sierra versus Charles, Andrew, and Haley. I read the book. I know who wins, but I'm not giving any spoilers. You're going to have to keep listening to find out what happens. Chapter 33. Let's put two cards on the table, said Charles. He and his so-called teammates, Andrew and Haley, Charles planned on dumping them right before he made his glorious solo exit from the library, had scoured the library together for hours to look for more book covers. Heckleman wasn't nearly as good with the Dewey Decimal System as he claimed to be, and Charles needed someone who could do that sort of thing for me. His father always hired tutors and research assistants whenever Charles had work to do. Finally, around 6 in, coincidentally in the 600 rooms, they scored twice, finding Tea for You and Me and Why Can't You Lose Weight? Now the picture puzzle only had 4 blanks remaining. You see it? Okay, said Andrew, I think it's pretty clear. Woolly blank, walk up the skinny blank blank, house Indian, and 19 blank. Charles nodded and said, interesting, even though he knew Peckerman was way off. Hello, says Haley, that doesn't make any sense. Sure it does, said Andrew. No, it doesn't. In his head, Charles had decoded the clues so far as you, a female sheep, blank, walk out, the, blank, blank, in, past, blank. But out loud he said, I think we need to work on Andrew's translation a little bit. Fine, go ahead. I don't care, said Andrew. How about she, blank, walks out the skinny blank blank house, 500 and past blank. Where'd you get she, said Haley. From sheep, the card you gave us. Actually, I think sheep represents you because a ewe is a female sheep. Fascinating, said Charles. I didn't know that. What a liar. What he did figure out was that Haley Daly was much smarter than he had assumed. She could be a serious threat, and no way was Charles sharing his prize with anyone, especially her. And how do you get 500 from Indiana? Simple. Indianapolis, the capital of Indiana, is home for a race known as the Indy 500. Oh, so how about you blank out, walk out the skinny blank blank in because the Nancy Drew book was an in, 500 pass or past. That makes a lot more sense than what you said, Charles, Peckerman said. Indeed, said Charles. Perhaps the clues are telling us to locate a secret skinny passageway 500 paces past some landmark here in the library. Andrew was excited. This is like the pirate path from Treasure Island. Or, said Haley, maybe these clues are telling us we need to get out and find the 4 books we haven't found yet. We should split up. I'll go to the 400s room. We've already been there, said Andrew. Well, maybe you guys missed something. Good idea, said Charles. He figured if Haley Daly wasted time retracing steps he and Andrew had already taken, she would find nothing new and become less of a threat. Let's meet back here at, say, 7 o'clock. Fine. Haley left the meeting room. Charles went to the door and closed it. You know what we really need? He said to Andrew. Chocolate milk and maybe some cookies? Charles shook his head. No, Andrew. What we need is the clues that Kyle and his team found, especially if they have our missing cards. Chapter 34. Veering left the instant she reached the 2nd floor, Haley made her way toward the 400 room. She figured that Charles and Andrew probably missed something important in the language room because they spent too much time talking to these awesome mannequins that told them about their American heritage. As she rounded the bend, Haley saw Kyle Keeley and his crew tumble out of the 200 room. It looked like Miguel was carrying a Bible, but a Bible wasn't one of the books on the display. So we're following separate paths to the same goal, Haley said. And somewhere Those two paths are going to collide. Haley slid her car key down the rear to the slot of the 400s room. The lock clicked, and she pushed the door open. "Welcome," boomed a voice from the ceiling speakers. "Sorry," said Haley, blindly stepping forward and bumping into something hard and lumpy. "This is the 400 room, home of foreign languages. Here, Haley, you can learn all about your American heritage." A bank of spotlights thumped on. Haley was basically hugging a department store mannequin. An overhead projector beamed a movie onto the dummy on her left. "Hello, Haley, and welcome to your American heritage. Let your voyage begin." "That's okay, I don't have time for it right now. I'm Haley Daly, my ancestors were Irish, so we can skip this." Suddenly, two mannequins at the far end of the row turned into a sepia-toned version of her great-great-great-great-grandmother and her great-great-great-great-grandfather. Haley knew it was them because her dad had a bunch of old photographs hanging in the living room. The two dummies looked exactly like Patrick and Una Daly on their wedding day. "No man ever wore a scarf as warm as his daughter's arm around his neck," said Patrick. "Yeah, Dad's proud of you, Haley." "Thanks, but I really need to win this competition." "Watch out for those sneaky rascals," said Una. "Them that would steal the sugar out of your punch." Haley had to smile. It sounded like her ancestors had met Charles Chillington. "And always remember, Haley," said her great-great-great-grandfather, "every woman's mind is her kingdom. Rule it wise, lassie." You coming for reading, Chainsaw? Come on over. There you go. "I'm trying," she said. "This library card can help," said her great-great-great-grandmother with a wink. And when she did, a secret panel in the wall slid open. "What's going on?" said Haley. "You are our third visitor," said a voice from the ceiling. "So, according to the American Heritage Dictionary of Idioms, available in our reference department, the third time is the charm. Therefore, our third visitor has won a charming bonus." 2 bonuses in one day? She was right. Mr. Lemoncello definitely wanted Haley to win this game because clearly he knew that she would be perfect for his commercials. "Don't worry, sir," Haley said to the nearest camera. "I won't let you down." She hurried through the open wall panel and into the 300s room on the other side. Ta-da! The first thing she saw was one of the books they had been looking for all day. True Crime, Ohio, the Buckeye State's most notorious bandits. She quickly opened the cover and found its hidden 4x4 card. It took her 2 seconds to figure out the clue. Bandits. Haley remembered another bit of Irish wisdom, something her dad always said. Never bolt your door with a boiled carrot. She decided to keep this new clue secret and secure. She would not share it with Charles and Andrew. Haley took off her left sneaker, folded the card in half, and slid the clue into her shoe for safekeeping. When her sneaker was laced back up again, she took the True Crimes book off the display and tucked it into the bookshelf, making sure it was in its proper position, right between 364.1091 and 364.1093. That way, she would know where to find it for whatever reason she needed the book again. Haley looked up at the nearest camera and flashed her brightest commercial smile. "Woo, Mr. Lemoncello! There's a cheer I just made up. We can use it in the commercials after I win." Chapter 35. Entrance to Community Meeting Room B will only be granted to Kyle Keeley, Sierra Russell, Akimi Hughes, and Miguel Fernandez, said the soothing female voice from the ceiling after the 4 teammates had swiped their cards into the meeting room door. "This makes sense," said Akimi. "We need a place to organize our material. Put it on the walls, draw up a chart like they do on the FBI on TV shows when they're trailing the mob." "Stole the meeting room idea from me, huh, Keeley?" Charles was standing in the doorway. "No, we just need a place to throw our victory party after we win." "Not gonna happen," said Charles. "Must I remind you, I'm a Chillington, and we never lose." He disappeared back into meeting room A. After Charles was gone, Kyle led his team into meeting room B. Miguel posted bank blueprints he had found on the walls, while Sierra set up the Bibliomania game board on the conference table. I'm glad this room won't let anyone else in, said Kyle. And by anyone, you mean Charles, right? Totally. Akimi grabbed a marker and wrote a neat outline on the dry erase walls. Clues so far. Definite clue. From the 0 room, get to know your local library. 2. From the art and artifact room, Willy Wonka candy rhymes with Andy. Should we find a glass elevator? From the 300s room, Bible verse, thou shalt not steal. Probably clues, books and authors on all the library cards, and she relists all the books. Maybe clues, statues, and lists the names of all the statues. Wow, said Akimi. What a mess. Yes, said Kyle. Okay, guys, there's 8 more book rooms to explore, and who knows how many more wild cards. Whose turn is it? Yours, said Sierra. Kyle flicked the spinner. Green, 500s, science. He pulled the first green card from the deck. 4 and 20 were once in a pie. 598.367 might tell you why. Blackbirds? Said Miguel. I guess. Well, let's go check out another book. There's still a little bit of space on the whiteboard. The 500 rooms was like a miniature museum of natural history. In addition to a towering wall of books, there was a whole planetarium, stars and constellations on the ceiling. Models of planets whirled in their orbits. Sparkle-tailed comets shot around the corners of the bookshelves. Kyle and his teammates made their way to the 590s, zoology. Shelving units were arranged in a square around the open area, maybe 20 feet by 20 feet wide. When the team entered the empty space, the lights dimmed, and a guy with long wavy hair who looked like artistic Daniel Boone faded into view. He was wearing a bear fur coat and carrying a musket. Bonjour, said the hologram. That's John James Audubon, said Sierra, the famous ornithologist. He gives people braces, said Kyle. No, he studied and painted birds, said Sierra. A blackbird with a yellow beak flew into the open area and roosted on a tree branch. The bird and the tree were both holograms, too. A blackbird with a yellow beak. Oh, sorry, I read that paragraph. The beautiful blackbird from Alexanderville, Ohio, said the transparent Audubon image, can mimic the sounds of anything it hears. The bird started wailing. Wow, that sounds just like a police siren. Yo, said Miguel, that's a little freaky. To learn more, be sure to read Bird Songs, Warbles, and Whistles, written by Dr. Diana Victoria Garcia, with classic illustrations by moi. With that, Audubon sat on his camp stool. An easel appeared, the blackbird stuck a pose, and the outdoorsy artist started to paint the bird. Okay, this is the strangest clue yet, said Kyle. Well, here's the book at least, said Sierra, who had found the book on a shelf. So what do a blackbird's wails and warbles have to do with us finding a way out of a library? Just then they heard a very different sound. Behind one of the bookcases, something growled and then roared. Did you guys hear that? Asked Sierra. Yes, said Akimi. I don't think it's a robin redbreast. A very rare white Bengal tiger with icy blue eyeballs crept out from behind a wall of bookshelves and stalked into the open area where Audubon sat painting his bird. Is that another hologram? Asked Miguel. Roar! No one stuck around to find out. Thanks. Chapter 36. Down on the first floor, Charles and Andrew were working their way around the semicircle of 3-story, floor-to-dome bookcases filled with fiction. It was nearly 8 p.m. We need to find that book, said Charles. I'm getting kind of hungry, said Andrew. You had a snack this afternoon. Yeah, well, now it's time for dinner. No, we need to find Anne of Green Gables first. The classic by Lucy Maud Montgomery was in the middle book on a top shelf in the staff picks display case. So far, Charles, Haley, and Andrew had not been able to find it anywhere in the library. Unfortunately, said Andrew, they temporarily erased the book's call number from the database. So we wouldn't know what to punch in the hover controls panel, said Charles. Actually, maybe they shelved it in the children's room. Or maybe in the 800s with its literature. Could be in the 400s too, because it was originally written in Canadian, which technically is a foreign language. So you've said, Andrew, repeatedly, but we've already searched all those locations several times. It has to be here with the fiction titles. We just need to fly up and find it. Well, said Andrew, I'm kind of afraid of heights. Fine, I'll go get it. But you have to give me some kind of call number to be entered into the hover ladder. Lucy Maud Montgomery wrote other Anne books. There's Anne of Avonlea, Charles dashed. Here we go. Anne of Avonlea by Lucy Maud Montgomery. F/MON. Yes, said Andrew. Fiction books are usually put on the shelf in alphabetical order by the author's last name. Non-fiction titles are classified according to the Dewey Decimal System. How long have you known that? Asked Charles. Andrew's nose twitched. Since second grade? So all we needed was F-MON? We could have found this book hours ago. Andrew gulped. You are such a disappointment. Charles huffed over to one of the ladders. He quickly jabbed F-M-O-N into the keypad. The boot clamps locked into place around his ankles. You owe me for wasting this time, Andrew. You owe me big time. If you let me down once more, I swear I'm going to tell everyone you're a big, blubbering baby. I'll Twitter it and post it on Facebook. Don't worry. I'll make you glad you picked me for your team, Charles. I promise. A hover ladder lifted off the floor and gently glided up the M section of the fiction wall. Moving sideways, it carried Charles to the shelf displaying all the Anne books. He grabbed a copy of Anne and Green Gables. As soon as he did, the ladder started its slow descent to the floor. What'd you find? Said Andrew. A clue we needed. He showed Andrew the card that had been tucked inside the front cover. Okay, said Andrew. C plus hat. So the word chat, which, by the way, could also be chat, French for cat. Well done, Andrew, said Charles, even though he knew the clue was actually C plus Anne equaling can, thereby making the puzzle you can walk out the way blank blank in the past blank. The way what did what, he wondered. And what does in mean? Charles desperately needed to find those last three books. Suddenly, Mr. Lemoncello's voice boomed over the loudspeaker. Hey, Charles. Hey, Andrew. Let's do a deal. Game show music blared. A canned crowd cheered. Charles turned around and saw shafts of colored light illuminating 3 envelopes on the desk. Clarence, the security guard, marched into the reading room, folded his arms over his chest, and took position near the 3 envelopes. We have a green envelope, a blue envelope, and a red envelope, said Mr. Lemoncello. In 2 of those 3 envelopes are copies of 2 of the 3 cards you still need. In 1, there is a clunker card. If you pick an envelope with a clue, you get to keep it and you get to keep going. But if you pick the clunker card, you are done and must suffer the consequences. Andrew raised his hand. Yes, Andrew. What are the consequences? Something bad, said Mr. Lemoncello. In fact, something wicked this way will probably come. Do you want to do a deal? Yes, said Charles. The audience cheered. All right then, Charles, you roll first. Pardon? Swipe your fingers across the nearest desktop panel. The dice tumbler app is up and running. Again, the pre-recorded audience cheered. They sounded like they loved watching dice tumble more than anything in the world. Charles slid his finger across the glass. The animated dice rolled. Ooh, double 6s. That gives you a 12. Is that good, sir? Maybe, maybe not. Okay, Andrew, your turn. Peckelman tapped the glass. The dice flipped over. Another set of doubles. Yeah, but 1, said Charles. Snake eyes. Is that bad? Said Andrew. Maybe, said Mr. Lemoncello. Maybe not. Okay, guys, which envelope would you like to open? Charles thought about it while TikTok music played. They were given this chance to play Let's Do a Deal after they located Anne and Green Gables. Coincidence? I don't think so. We'll take the green envelope, sir. Clarence presented the green envelope to Charles. Open it, said Andrew. Open it. Charles undid the clasp, pulled out the card. A loud zonk rocked the room. The card was blank. Uh-oh, said Andrew. What does it say? Sorry, kids, you are out of luck. So out the doors, you all now stuck. Clarence picked up the blue and red envelope and marched back toward the entrance hall. What does that mean? Said Andrew. Well, Charles rolled a 12, and then you rolled a 2. What's 12 plus 2? 14, said Charles eagerly, the way he always did math when he wanted to remind the teacher that he was the smartest kid in the class. Ooh, that's not good. In fact, I think it's stinkerific, said Mr. Lemoncello. Stinkerific, said Andrew. Is that even a word? It is now, said Mr. Lemoncello. JJ, tell them what they've lost. An authoritative female voice boomed from the ceiling. Warning, due to a clunker card, all 10 Dewey Decimal doors will lock in 10 minutes at exactly 8 o'clock. If you are in one of those rooms, kindly leave immediately. The 10 doors on the second floor will remain locked for 14 hours. Andrew panicked. What? 14 hours? I told you 12 plus 2 was bad, said Mr. Lemoncello. Of course, it could have been good. If you picked one of the other envelopes, you would have received a clue and a free 14-month subscription to the library journal. Charles did some quick math. Sir, does that mean we are locked out of all the rooms until 10 o'clock tomorrow morning? Bingo, said Lemoncello. It sure does. This stinks. We need those stupid rooms to solve your stupid puzzle, said Andrew. Clunker cards stink. This game stinks. 14-hour penalties stink. Charles did his best to block out Andrew's rant. He needed to think. And then it hit him. Kyle Keeley's team had to be working on some other solution to a bigger puzzle of how to escape from the library. Otherwise, Charles and his team would not be able to find the 9 clues they already picked up. Surely, if Kyle's team had been playing the same memory game, they would have found at least one of the pictograms. They must be working a completely different angle, Charles thought. Charles was certain that he could use his downtime to learn what Keeley and his team had in their meeting room and combine it with his pictures, and he would emerge from the library victorious. Do not despair, Andrew, Charles said. We're still going to win. How? Charles leaned in and cupped his hand around the mouth so no security cameras could read his lips. Remember, you need to pay me back for wasting a ton of time that it took to find Anne of Green Gables. What? You're the one who picked the stupid green envelope and got the clunker card. So, said Charles. Nothing, said Andrew nervously. I just thought I'd, point that out to you. Charles turned his eyes ice blue. So what do you want me to do? Said Andrew. You need to find a way to sneak into community meeting room B. That's impossible, said Andrew. Don't worry, I have an idea. What is it? 2 words. Sierra Russell. That sounds like a cliffhanger to me, and a good place to stop.